What's up everyone, Kevin here. So we're in a spot of my garden that I almost never show you guys, and this is my backyard. And it's hard to call it a garden because I don't grow a whole lot. I have a bougainvillea here, I've got a ficus, but there's not a whole lot going on, and that's because it's a shady zone of the garden. But today, I've joined forces with a company I've been working with for a long time, Gardener Supply Company. They're actually here in San Diego, and they're doing a complete transformation of the backyard into a Shady Zen Oasis. So stay tuned. The first thing we're gonna do is show you what it looks like right now. So as we come into the backyard, I have my garden shed, which you guys have seen before, but over here, I don't think I've really showed too much of. And so I've got my little dining table. There's just a section of emptiness right here, and more or less an empty-ish bed. We have a couple plants that are buried right there, but not a whole lot going on right here. It's underneath this pergola, which gets slatted sunlight through portions of the year. You can see a little bit peeking in, not a whole lot. And then over here, I've got a massive bougainvillea that always gets a little out of control. This ficus always gets a little out of control as well. It's kind of going through the power lines. And then I have my patio section here, and there's some empty space behind the AC unit, just hanging out. Nothing going on back there, and nothing really besides the clutter going on over here either. So it's kind of an open field day. So the plan is to turn into a Shady Zen Oasis. We're going to be putting in some raised beds over in this zone over here. We're gonna be putting some raised beds over here. We got some really cool plants at the local nursery. So let's go ahead and jump into it.
So the Gardener Supply team and I headed on down to Walter Anderson Nursery here in San Diego. Beautiful, beautiful nursery. Great for some of these rarer or larger species and specimens. Now, Deb and I here are discussing which bamboo we want to grow. The reason why we're choosing bamboo is because we want something that's going to grow decently tall and act as a living privacy fence in the 2-foot by 8-foot raised bed that's going to go against the back fence and kind of protect against that alley and some of the noise and urban sprawl. I knocked a couple bamboo over. We don't need to worry about that. Now, we were like, we don't know what to choose until we saw this black bamboo right here. And this one is just absolutely amazing, beautiful, a little pricey, but beautiful. I believe it's Phylostachys nigra. I could be wrong there. Now Jenny here is gonna go ahead and do a little Vanna White compare and contrast. We just couldn't decide which one to choose. And then we finally made the call to go with the black bamboo. And we chose a low-lying clumping bamboo for accent around the bottom of that 2-foot by 8-foot bed. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, why would you ever get bamboo that's going to spread and grow like crazy? Well, yes, but it's planted over concrete and it's in a contained raised bed. So it's really not going to do the thing that most people think it would do. Now, the next thing we had to solve was the double 2-by-4-foot bed. So two 2-by-4-foot beds going underneath the awning, which is more cool, more humid, less light, and immediately you start looking in the fern section, right? So we chose some bird's nest ferns as our low-lying planting in that bed, and then we chose some accent pieces, some very large, powerful, beautiful alocasias to provide that high contrast. I also couldn't help getting an Australian tree fern, this huge accent piece. You can see they're delivering it right here, as well as the rest of the plants, and that concludes the nursery trip.
So we're just starting out, but we have, as you can see, quite a bit of soil. A little sneak peek of a staghorn fern that's going in, and we have one of the raised beds, the 8-foot raised bed, which will be back there, creating a little privacy from this urban sprawl over here.
We are making the raised beds, guys. Deb is hard at work, and we constructed one of the 2-by-8s, and this is where the bamboo is going to go. You can see all we did was just screw it together, very simple construction, and we stacked 2 on top of each other to get a little bit more height, because number 1, those are some pretty decent sized bamboo, and number 2, we just wanted a little bit more height to put a little more volume of soil. Now Sue here is bringing in our Phylostachys nigra. We decided to go with 4 different Phylostachys nigra to go 1, 2, 3, 4 in that 2-by-8-foot bed, and those are our accent pieces. Now, this is my first time growing bamboo, and so if you're out there and saying, why are they doing it this way, or why didn't they think about this? Well, probably because it's my first time growing bamboo, and we just made that call at the nursery. So it's something that I would love to learn more about. It's a fascinating, fascinating plant. And if you have a comment on it, please, please share it down below, because I would love to learn from you as well. I'm much more of an edible gardener, and this is way more an ornamental planting. And so, you know, sometimes you just have to experiment. So here we are just kind of planning out the layout. and figuring out the way that we really want it to aesthetically look. But already it's starting to just take shape and look absolutely amazing.
This is how we do it here at Epic Gardening. I watch and does all work.
It seems harsh, but the plants will be fine. It's bamboo, they're tough.
So here we are just chopping these clumps up and trying to get the most value out of them. Bamboo, pretty resilient plant overall. And so we think that we can spread it out a little bit and just get a nice aesthetic look, and slowly it will fill itself in over time, provided we care for it correctly. So that's the final look of it, and I think it looks really, really nice. It has a lot of potential to grow in the future.
Woo! That's right at me.
We put in one of the gardener's spike irrigation kits, which was really, really handy, and you can see we're just testing a little different water pressure here. And we came across a healthy medium, and there you go. We have our little bamboo oasis put in. Now it's on to the rest of the garden.
Here we went with some alocasias, some really cool looking ones here, and then we interplanted with bird's nest ferns for the lower growing section. So it's kind of a fern, tropically, but shade loving area, because this time of day, about 4-ish, 5-ish p.m. is the only time this gets direct sun coming in over this little, hard to see because I just blocked it, but like basically where my finger is to where that roof is about an hour and a half worth of sun that comes in through here. So we chose some stuff that would work well in that condition and look really, really nice. It's been a few months since the Shady Zen Oasis transformation, so I figured why not show you how things have settled in. Now, the part we didn't focus on so much was some of these awesome plant accents. So you have this big tree fern right here. This is actually a completely new frond that has come out since we did the transformation. Honestly, I thought this might not make it in the space, but it seems to have really acclimated. The first month or so, it just wasn't doing that well, and it's settled in now, and it's really, really performing. I mean, this looks amazing. So that's a fantastic addition. Then you have your alocasias and your bird's nest ferns. I mean, a lot of these are plants that many of us grow in our homes as indoor house plants, but remember, there's no such thing as a house plant. All plants evolved outside, and so they're gonna do well outside provided you give them the right conditions. And so these massive alocasias are putting on new leaves. The bird's nest ferns are immaculate, and I've added a couple accents here and there, so let's take a look. So in my bougainvillea and ficus, we have these cool globe lights. They're solar powered on the top, so they recharge every night, and then they just throw a light out right underneath, right underneath right here, and this pattern just cascades out over the course of the night, which is really, really nice. So I have 3 of those. And then over here in our bamboo section, which the bamboo has been a little bit more rough of an adaptation to this climate, but we're gonna go ahead and hope that it pulls through. These lights are really nice. So these are also solar charged, and you can leave them on if you want, but I end up turning them off. And what you do is you just unscrew this, and there's a little switch under there and you turn it on, but it gives this really nice pattern throughout the back here. And then we've got these cute little boxes, or these little planters right here. Here's a better look at the alocasia and fern heaven over here. There's my little grow bag. And then look at that guy right there. Let's go see him, the staghorn. The staghorn has been doing really well in this slatted sunlight area. Obviously there's a little dryness right here, but we're putting out a lot of new growth, so it's going to be completely fine. You can see some more shield development going on right there. So overall, I mean, this is just such a better space than it used to be. I mean, can you imagine? I've got my little bird feeder here. And what's been really nice about this is up in this area with the bougainvillea and the ficus, it's become a bird haven. It is a little unkempt, and actually I think the city's gonna come out because we really don't want it growing through these power lines. But in the meantime, it's an amazing bird haven. I've found multiple hummingbird nests, etc. So it's really looking good. So I have to say a huge thank you to Gardener Supply Company, a company I've worked with for years now. Amazing people. It's an employee-owned company, and they just do good work, and they want a lot of people to grow plants and grow food, which is what I'm all about. So thank you to them for coming out and helping me transform this space into the epic Shady Zen Oasis. And you're gonna see, and you probably have seen, a lot of videos back here. So now we have back here, we have our side yard, we have our front yard, and we have the houseplant jungle upstairs. There's like 4 little spots for videos to come out, which I'm really excited about. So stay tuned, good luck in the garden, and keep on growing.